And that's whenever I farted in her face.
And she punched you right in the face, and your face fell off your body. Welcome to the Swine Brothers Show, episode 129 for the 21st of March, 2017. If you'd like to get in contact with the show, you can email us at cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com. Facebook is Swine Brothers, and Twitter is SwineBro666. I am your usual host, Elliot Lindemood. My usual co-hosts are...
I am the Jim. I shit on things.
And I'm the Chaswold, and I say don't listen to that Elliot kid. He's a bit of a wrong un.
Agreed.
And don't listen to that Chavez. No, you're not a usual co-host. You're a Remember your place.
Shut up. Introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm American. After all these years, I still question why I log into this show.
Eric Chaves. And Chaz didn't fuck up my intro for once.
No, there's bigger sport in here.
No, there isn't.
Yeah.
So, we need to do some albums, some house cleaning. By that I mean cleaning albums. I'm not cleaning my house. Fuck that. New Obituary came out a couple weeks ago. It was okay. New Memoriam's coming out soon. That's the couple guys from the band Bolt Thrower. That is much better than Obituary. It's really good death metal. But I have an early candidate for Album of the Year, Jim. Bound for Glory's Ironborn. It's a mix of, there's punk in it, there's thrash parts, there's folk sections, there's even an entire folk song, there's doomy there's doom, there's a doom song, there's even some melodic, dare I even say poppy sounding parts in it, but not done like badly, done very well. That's not all though. There's blues sections, there's even a damn death growl, and some hard rock swagger. It's a mix of different styles that meshes together to form one coherent whole. The only thing that's and actually some good grooves. The only thing that's annoying is a couple songs end like a second or two before they should. Like they'll just suddenly stop and another track will start. It's not my download. It's the same thing. So, but yes, definitely check Ironborn by Bound for Glory. Favorite tracks include Ironborn, The Sword Is My Lord, Old Soul, and the folk song The Departure. Oh, and all the rest are good too. Check it out.
Okay.
And The Sword Is My Lord is a great song title.
Yeah, it is. Speaking of Nazis.
Yeah, I thought that would be a great segue. We go from Bound for Glory to...
Metal music still has an unaddressed Nazi problem.
Unaddressed. This is from the AV Club. This is maybe a week or so old. But God, I found this. And
it's written by David Anthony, prime candidate for the Aryan race himself.
Sing Heil.
And have you ever noticed, just before we start, have you ever noticed every time we read one of these articles, it seems as if they want the music itself to stop people from playing in a genre of music.
Yep. And isn't it funny that whenever we read these articles, like I know a couple people who got offended by some of the things we said, and they're the lily-whitest people we've ever met.
Yes, just like David Anthony, the author of this article, he is whiter than white. Ugh.
Yes.
Oh, you lucky little cessbag.
Cessbag, okay.
Recently, Profound Lore Records announced a new 12-inch EP from Disma.
Yay.
Aren't they a joke band?
No. Disma's not a joke band. It's the side project that was the joke band.
Oh, okay.
Disma's a very serious... I mean, they're great... They're the new wave of old-school death metal.
Okay. An American death metal band that's existed for well over a decade. The band's frontman, Craig Pillard, is considered a pioneer of the genre due to his work in Incantation, one of the early innovators in the New York City's death metal scene.
Amazing band. Rotting with your Christ.
He is also considered a fucking Nazi. That would be the side project that's a joke.
Yes, we read an interview with him, and it was clearly a joke.
Yeah.
He's also on my friends list.
Outside of Pillard's main gig, he also had a solo project called Sturmfuhrer. Okay, that was the joke project. A name derived from the paramilitary rank within the Nazi army that best translates to assault leader.
Assault leader. That's a great name.
Under the Sturmfuhrer name, Pillard released records that feature swastikas in their artwork.
No, wouldn't that be? Wouldn't Stormfuhrer? Wouldn't that really be more translatable as to assault father? Really?
Yeah, but leader, father, it
I know they use it interchangeably, but yeah, it's
yeah, but
obviously.
that wouldn't make any sense. Father of the assault, leader of the assault, leader of the storm, whatever.
Well, I mean, it would be the perfect name for Hitler. Like if he ever wanted a gamer tag.
Yeah, but he'd have to come back to life for that. And necromancy's not really his strong suit.
Yeah, he tried that and failed all his experiments.
Haven't we all though?
And put out albums on labels like Satanic Skinhead Propaganda.
I like that label.
An imprint that, before closing in 2013, handled records by other metal bands that traffic in overt racism.
Ooh, no examples though.
But by becoming part of the profound lore fold, Pillard is no longer just on the cultural fringes.
It's a big label. Big metal label, I mean.
And his involvement there says something striking about modern metal's ongoing Nazi problem. As if we can dictate individuals fucking...
The amount of people who have Nazi beliefs in metal is a very, very, very small. Now, right wing, that might be bigger, but as we've seen, there are vast amounts of left wing people in the metal scene.
Yeah. Expecting everyone to just nod and toss off on a singular ideology. Come on, it's like they're just
Nodding
creating their own
off.
enemies. They're giving more publicists.
I would change the vernacular of the term "toss off." Over here, "toss off" means to have a wank.
I think that's what he was trying to say.
Was it? Okay, I thought it was something different than that. No, then I apologize. I thought you may have meant to say something else, not something that sounded like masturbation.
No, masturbate on an idea.
God, I just fucking hate these people. Anyway, Profound Lore, along with labels like Southern Lord, specializes in some of the most progressive, interesting metal being made.
I find most of them boring, although I like some of the Southern Lord roster.
Glance over its discography, and you'll find releases that rarely adhere to one sound, but often push boundaries. When you're taking an extremist ideology being pushing boundaries?
No, like boundaries, I mean like incorporating indie rock into black metal.
Oh, something that's been done before.
From a little picked Savage Garden.
And it fucking sucked.
Yes, it does. And it did and does and will continue.
Be it full of hell's abrasive noise metal, Crowless's experimental black metal. Oh God, or even Dalek's off-kilter hip-hop.
I don't like hip-hop, okay? I mean, I tried it. I listened to Scott's and Chaz's links that they sent me, and it ain't my thing. I understand the lyrics might be brutal, but the music itself, or whatever it is, it's not my thing.
Nah.
I mean, I can respect some of the lyrics, but like I said, the music is... It's not... No.
Come March, you'll also find a new album by Paul Bearer.
Yes, I have that album. It sucked.
An Arkansas metal band with potential to be a huge Mastodon-style crossover act.
Mastodon also sucks. I saw them live. And it's funny because, you know how people say, like, King Diamond sounds like a Muppet whenever he sings his high-pitched or whatever? Literally, the guy, when he does his high-pitched vocals, he sounds like a damn cartoon. It literally, like, he sounds like a cat trying to do high pitch. He's like, it was awful.
If so, could similarly bring more mainstream exposure to profound lore.
Why would we want mainstream exposure?
Fucking, it's called the lamestream for a reason.
Yes.
People there are unthinking and just nod with whatever the fuck's popular and flutter around like fucking morons that need a bullet in their fucking rectal orifice to come out their mouth, then ricochet between their teeth before it goes back up through their skull.
And if you want truth, if you want proof, Mastodon. If you want further proof, Metallica's Hardwired has sold 500,000 copies despite having 2 good songs and like 10 minutes of other good ideas in a 77-minute album.
Remember that the lamestream produced both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
And Chazwell Almighty, actually.
Your mama produced me.
That would make us brothers, and that makes me depressed.
We are brothers, though, Elliot. Didn't you know?
The Swine Brothers.
Which only makes the label's seeming lack of an ethical line all the more troubling. You want...
Maybe they have an ethical line if it's good music and they don't outright promote it. You know, if the lyrics aren't called, you know, Final Solution SS 88, you know.
The lyrics do get redundant.
Don't they, though?
If Dismo were an isolated incident, it'd be easy to chalk it up its signing as an outlier. But Profound Lore has time and again supported artists lacking any moral compass. Who says they're lacking any moral compass?
Wait a minute. I don't believe in the concept of morality anyway, so, you know.
I mean, yeah, the moral high ground is bullshit, but I'm still saying who says they lack any moral compass by their own standards?
Yes, even if their standards are morals don't exist, that's still a moral compass.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that's my dogs. I don't know what they're barking about. Continue, Jim.
After Cobalt kicked out its vocalist, Phil McSorley, for making a homophobic and sexist statements, why are you kicking him out? On Facebook.
It could have been because they are. I mean, we don't know. It could have been just because they argue with the other band. I mean, I've kicked out people because we argued about shit because we tried to play music and it like they had to stop every third song and say how I was wrong for believing in Satanism. So I had
Was
to
this
go.
a Christian band by any chance?
No, he was an atheist. So yeah, he had to go. Sorry, but you know. Fuck it, if you're disrupting the band.
It was on the Facebook page of his other band, Recluse. It then welcomed Lord Mantis's Charlie Fell into the band. Unfortunately, Lord Mantis had released in the infamous Death Mask, an album featuring controversial art.
I have to check out Lord Mantis.
Drawn by similarly provocative Jeff Whitehead. That was labeled as transphobic. Oh, God.
I like Jeff Whitehead.
My question is, what about misanthropic? Where you just hate fucking humans?
Yeah, I hate all
doesn't matter which form they take. Whatever the hell they identify, they're all equally useless and deserve punishment.
Until you get to know them, and then you discover that some humans aren't useless, but most are.
Yes, but still.
Oh no, some make some very good firelighters.
Yes. Actually, it's very hard to light a fire with a human. I've tried that.
Oh, not
It's
if you
easier to
start
put
off with
the fire.
fucking some thermite. It goes up a treat then.
Well, you're starting a fire with thermite then.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's like the ignition source, but the human being, that's the thing that's really starting it, because they mouthed off, and you have to burn them with thermite. You know how it works.
Anyway,
like you get a bit lippy, you get a smack in the mouth. You start mouthing off, and then maybe, I don't know, you get sent to the Bernie ouchie place.
Jim, what are you saying?
When confronted about it in interviews, Fell shrugged it off, as saying he sees all people as laughing, eating, smoking, dick-sucking, cum-loving, piss-in-the-mouth monkeys. That's a perfectly reasonable way to see all humanity.
Yes.
And because the Rolf Harris article can't, because they got to assume some form of morality, where they have to see people have some inherent value in things. God.
Nobody has any value until you get to meet them. Like Seth Putnam basically said that, like he hates people until he gets to know them. I mean, and then he may hate them anyway. But I mean, his opinion can change. But yeah, when I walk past people on the street, I don't think, oh, isn't that a lovely person? I think, you're talking. Please set yourself on fire.
Can't tell you how many times I drive on the road and people in front of me, I just want them to cease existing. As well as some of the people behind me, actually just about everyone that decides to fucking come within, 100 yards of my rear bumper deserves to cease existing.
Anyone who walks beside my table in a restaurant.
That is not the person giving you food.
Well, the person it depends on how slow he or she is.
That is true,
everyone
too.
to cease existing, too.
It seemed Cobalt had merely swapped one ill for another. Really? You're talking about metal. You're talking about metal.
Metal was dream, and guess what?
God, these people have no concept. They're going on saying that they want it to be a hug box. It can't be a hug box. We're filled with war, piss, and hatred.
Yes, well, I'm full of war and hatred, not piss anymore.
Yeah, I took a piss a while ago, but I'm slowly working on that. I got my coffee here.
Me too.
But Metal's ongoing problem with bigotry against the human species. He forgot to put that in there. Against the human bigotry against the human species.
Yes. Bigotry against the human species.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, motherfucker.
That's probably the most asinine fucking comment I've ever heard in my life.
No, you haven't heard yourself then.
Right, bigotry against the human species.
Yes.
Yeah.
From what? Monkeys? Is there some chimpanzees who
are from us.
like?
We hate humans. Therefore, being bigoted towards all humans is a-okay.
Yeah, but it's not like you single humans out particularly as life forms. I'm sure you probably think wasps are shit.
Wasps are shit, especially when they sting you. I mean, bees are okay because when bees sting...
Can you not exude bigotry towards more than one group?
Yeah, right? I also hate spiders.
I mean, this article's bashing Nazis who pretty much bash any group that is not within very narrow fucking specifications.
Well, it depends.
And the author of this article obviously bashes anyone that doesn't exist within his own, narrow specifications.
It's interesting because some Nazis are more tolerant of other groups than others. If you want what I'm talking about, the Slavs. Some Nazis hate Slavs. Others consider the Slavs Aryan.
And then there's the fact that my friends fucking were Nazis back in the day, and they hung out with me, who was not a Nazi, who debated them at every turn, who fucking...
And when Jim says back in the day, he's not talking about the 70s, he's talking about the 1930s.
Yeah, he and Goebbels were debating
Yes, something along those lines.
No,
Anyway.
but
He
where
called Himmler a twat on Twitter.
yeah. Whereas I
Yeah.
got the shit kicked out of me by Nazi skinheads. But yes, he called Himmler a twat. I disagree with you, Ribbentrop.
Black
He
metal
made
pioneer.
scathing assertions about Hess's mother as well.
Anyway,
Black metal pioneers Mayhem spent the past winter touring with Inquisition.
love Inquisition. Love Mayhem too.
Yes. A critical darling who's been lumped in with the white power movement.
Oh God, I remember this.
Oh, God. Most of those accusations stem from frontman Jason Dagan Werbach, whose side project, 88mm, boasts a name that alludes to the preferred artillery in Germans. Oh, man.
Keep reading, it gets better.
In World War II, and even more symbolically invokes the 88 code employed by neo-Nazis.
Do you remember when the Marduk guy came on and was like, well, they're saying 88 millimeter. That means they must be Nazis. Yeah, 88 millimeter is the gun they used. And in the Marduk case, they were talking about the conquest of Africa. So of course they're going to say 88 millimeter. They want, yeah, it was a preferred gun.
88mm also once released a song entitled 14 shower heads, one gas tight door.
Well, that is how it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like Angel of Death. Should we? Oh wait, I've seen Slayer's Nazis. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone says everyone's a Nazi. Completely
Now
devalue the term so that you bring back the Nazis. That way you have something.
Bolt Thrower a Nazi for having songs about World War II?
Yes, bolt thrower are now Nazis. You heard it here.
Despite the fact that, like, they grew up in like the punk scene with, left wing punks.
On the Satanic Skinhead compilation, Declaration of Anti-Semitic Terror. And it once released a split with Satanic Skinhead's founder, Antichrist Kramer, who has a well-documented history of association with openly racist and anti-Semitic bands, preaching fascism and ethnic cleansing. Guilt by association again!
But he also has a history of working with, like, bands who aren't racist. I've talked to Antichrist Kramer before. He's a nice guy, actually. He's kind of hard to find, though.
Yeah, so you're attempting to drum up guilt by association by someone who plays all sides. Very good, very good.
For someone who likes the music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a social democrat who just did like a 5-minute glowing review of Bound for Glory's album. The lyrics, by the way, if you're wondering, no open, like, there's no Iron Eagle Flies Again. It was basically just more patriotic and things like that. So yeah, there's no Iron Eagle Flies Again, but it was still not something I really agree with. But fuck it, it's good music. What do I care?
Putting it all together, grabbing at fray ends that may or may not exist, and you can make a reasonable case that, at very least, Werbach has built.
Seriously.
Werbach has a real blind spot when it comes to cultural sensitivity. We're talking about metal. Cultural sensitivity, whenever it's supposed to be in your face, I'm going to choke you to death, you fucking moron. I don't care who you are. That's the fucking lyrics we listen to. That's what the fuck we love. Cultural sensitivity does not exist here.
No sensitivity exists. I mean, maybe in like certain heavy metal genre, certain like less extreme, but in death and black metal, if you're into death and black metal, I mean, fuck.
And we're talking about ripping people apart and lynching with their own intestines. I mean, those are pretty
Just
much,
for breathing.
standard. Yeah, and those are standard lyrics within these genres. And you're talking about cultural sensitivity.
Or
Cultural sensitivity.
And Satan includes disliking right-hand path religions.
Oh, wow. It's okay to hate the Christians because blah, 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 but it's not okay to hate anyone else.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, you can be as anti-Christian as you want, but as soon as you say, "Oh, I also don't really care for the Jewish religion," not saying anything about the Jews themselves, just I don't like the Jewish religion.
Well, here's one for you. Interesting question. Have you noticed that Islamic State, ISIS, seem to attack a lot of Islamic countries, never Israel?
Yeah, I noticed. Actually,
You might also accuse Warbach of being a fucking Nazi himself. No, I can't. Even if I were to take everything that you pointed at as evidence here against him, there is no evidence. You haven't presented a single ounce of evidence. This entire fucking...
Do I know he's a Nazi? No, because I have not talked to him. But does this evidence convince me? No. Can he still be a Nazi? Yes, but on the evidence, on the strength of this evidence, no.
Come on, let's just do this simply. Is he white?
Yeah.
Definite racist. There you go.
Oh, you know what that means, right? That means fucking David Anthony is a fucking Nazi.
Yes.
By his own logic in proclaiming this Warbach a fucking Nazi, he has declared himself a Nazi.
Shane Mathis is a Nazi.
Yes.
Shane Mathis wishes he was a Nazi.
I think on some subconscious level,
I think he's more of a Nancy than a Nazi.
I think on some subconscious level, I had to unfollow him on Twitter because his tweets were just taking up my, it was like 10 Shane Mathis tweets and nothing else. It was like, okay, I kind of want to see what other people are doing, not just an idiot.
Plenty of people did just that in 2014 after Decibel ran an interview with Daniel Gallant, a one-time Canadian skinhead who abandoned the movement and has since worked to expose the tactics used by white power groups.
There we go. How many times have we covered these stories?
I don't know.
Enough.
No, not enough.
Because they still keep coming.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. We've covered them enough that they shouldn't be.
Yes, they will be, and we'll keep banging our heads against the wall.
Gallant that says, while driving a tour bus for Inquisition, Warbach and drummer Thomas Incubus Stevens both gushed over his swastika tattoo, which he since had removed.
Right, there's keep going.
With Gallant claiming Stevens even talked about his own beliefs in white supremacy.
That's his side of the story.
In a separate interview with Decibel, Warbach denied that he had any Nazi associations.
I know the guy who did the interview with Warbach. I'll call him Dagon from now on because that's his stage name. It's a Lovecraft reference. I know the guy who did the interview with Dagon, by the way. This interview.
I'm not a Nazi, he said flatly. That's good enough to me, unless you're fucking going out. Because every fucking Nazi I know fucking proudly proclaims this shit.
If you, like, that was the funny thing is that people were talking, like, oh, Marduk is subtle. They're subtle Nazis trying to brainwash the public. It's like, I don't think Nazis know how to be subtle. I mean, yes, they tone it down in like Bound for Glory's lyrics are toned down. There's no, Sea Isles or whatever. But if you were to ask them what they stand for, they would definitely tell you.
Mm-hmm. Because they believe that they're on the path of righteousness.
Yeah. Now, like I said,
just as the author of this article thinks they're on the path of righteousness.
Yeah, now their lyrics are more about just patriotism. They're not openly saying, we want capital punishment, blah blah blah. But like I said, if you ask them, they would tell you what they believe. Definitely. Now what else does the article say?
Though he had a slightly more muddled response when asked about how he would describe his reaction to seeing Gallant's tattoo.
I've read this, Jim. Now, you have to decide if this is muddled, okay? Here's the response.
I can honestly tell you that I never flat out said I thought it was a horrible thing or that I was against it, but never did I say that I was with it and that I believed in it. What I've always told people is I understand it. I understand when you look at history and what was happening at the time, when you put yourself in everybody else's shoes. And if you're smart enough, and you have, maybe common sense is not the word, but you have an understanding of why things happen in history and in humanity the way they do. It doesn't matter how ugly it is or how great. It's simple physics. It's nature. Things happen. Earthquakes happen. Bad, good things happen. That's not muddled.
What he's saying is that examine history, examine and draw your own conclusions. No. The response by the guy is even better. Keep going.
Echoing this, hey, shit and Holocaust happened. God.
Okay, stop. Right there. Stop. Right there. Since World War II, how many genocides have happened?
At least 20, I think, isn't it?
Before World War II, how many genocides happened? So yeah, shit and Holocaust happened. I'm sorry. It's horrible. I don't like it. But does this guy think that by addressing this, people will always kill each other, and people will always kill each other for bullshit reasons and find different reasons to kill each other? You belong to the wrong tribe. We're going to massacre you. You belong to the wrong group. We're going to massacre you. Yes.
You think the wrong way. We're going to massacre you.
Yes.
Break up all your shop windows and set fire to your cars.
These things happen. So yes, I agree with that analysis, that bad things and good things do happen in history, and there are patterns. This will not be the last Holocaust, genocide, whatever you want to call it.
Well, they had a summit in the 1920s after the Great War because it was so bad. They thought, let's do everything we can do as a world to make sure none of our nations go through that again. And they were so successful in preventing another one of those Great World War things, weren't they?
For about 10 years, yeah. Yeah.
18.
So, no, well, it prevented wars for about 10 years or so.
Yeah, but the World War didn't start until what, 38?
Yeah, but I'm just saying there were other wars before then. They thought that war would end wars, and
technically the Second World War didn't end until fairly recently.
All I gotta say is this David Anthony guy definitely thinks his shit doesn't stink.
Technically, the Cold War's still going on with North Korea.
Well, no, here's the thing, right? There was I can't remember if it was Guernsey or Jersey or no, maybe it was the Isle of Man, yeah? But there's one of these British Isles, which is its own country by rights, not part of the United Kingdom. But it's got protectorate status.
Yeah, I know.
They were still at war. They hadn't declared the end of the war with the Germans. They were still technically at war with Germany right up until I think it was like 2005 or some shit like that they actually got around to actually signing the fucking armistice end of the war. So technically, the Second World War was still going on.
I want to be at war with Germany.
They just had a ceasefire. They hadn't actually ended the war.
Anyway, continue.
Warbach similarly shrugged off whether he might be attracting Nazi fans with his music. Does it? So what?
At what point do we start calling out these people on Godwin's Law?
Okay, attracting Nazi fans to Kim Kardashian. Yes, there are Nazi fans of Kim Kardashian.
What?
Yes, there are Nazi fans of everything. Well, I mean, that okay.
Are
okay,
there
that
Ainsley
was
Harriet Nazi fans?
Chaz,
How many people on the National Front are good friends of old fucking Lenny Henry?
Well, no one, because there isn't a National Front. Chaz, that would be like
sorry,
when I
the
was
BNP,
saying,
as it likes to be
I
called.
was going to a NASCAR race, and the guy said, "Well, you know, NASCAR has the highest fan base of Nazis in any sport." I'm like, why would I care? I like the racing. So that's exactly yeah.
There's Nazis there, so don't like it. Honestly, I say we need more Nazis in the music just to drive these people away.
Or we just need napalm launchers.
Napalm, yes.
Anyway.
If they like the music we're doing, then they like it. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. People will like what they like. God, I even knew a fucking neo-Nazi back in the day who fucking enjoyed basketball. Yes, basketball, that sport with mostly black people in it.
Yep.
He liked the sport. So you're saying that fucking we should shun basketball because Nazis like it.
And on the other side, your wife or ex-wife liked Bound for Glory.
Mm-hmm.
So we should like Bound for Glory.
Yeah, because a black person likes Bound for Glory. It must be good.
By the way, are you familiar with Psi 10 Atheist?
No. Well, I've seen him, but I don't do the whole atheist bullshit.
Oh, well, he just does cartoons. He does lots lately. Mainly his stead is attacking sort of fundamentalist Islam and SJWs.
Yeah.
And he does like the series like The Truck of Peace, which is really funny.
Yeah.
And right, but the recent one he's done, it's so funny. You know that transgender person who's really famous on YouTube for being a big SJW, got a ginormous Adam's apple?
Jim Thompson, yes.
Yeah, they both got long hair and a gigantic Adam's apple, but I mean, I wouldn't want to see Jim nor even imagine him in a dress, and unfortunately...
Oh, you missed there is a picture.
I do not want to see the picture.
No,
if I do, I'd probably be the second blindy cunt to be on Swine Bros.
Jim?
No, that's it. You're getting the link to the video.
Yes, you are getting a link to the video. There's a thumbnail on one of the Swine Brothers episodes of Jim in a dress. I will make sure.
Because what I'd like to do is I would like to play you.
No, just could we just move? I have limited time here.
Yeah.
This thing is only like 2 minutes 42 seconds long.
Chaz, sorry, I don't mean to be a bitch, but I really don't have a lot of time. Let's just do these articles. Sorry, I mean we post it in the Swine Bros chat. Post it in the Swine Bros chat.
Yeah. Anyways, he also brushed off any questions about Kramer. If I knew he was a white supremacist, truly, would I work with him? Well, there's a fine line, because even though Inquisition is not a white supremacist band, it gets into the area of, well, here's a friend who may have evolved into something that is not my business, but now is working for the band. So, for the band, of course, I would not have worked with him. We would not have. It would have been very difficult. It would have affected maybe our friendship or something, because people don't like being judged, even though, ironically, we're talking about everybody judging each other.
That's a good answer.
That is a good answer. And, all fucking this David Anthony guy is doing is judging everyone. So it's like, yeah, so you don't want to be judged, but it's okay for you to judge everyone else.
Yes, judge others, but don't be judged.
Yay.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like if I knew someone, if I was in a band, I would be a little more picky about who I work for in a band than working with someone solo.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Amid all this prevaricating, Werbach said he also believed Kramer couldn't be a white supremacist because he had a black friend. Well, yeah.
People, I mean, I've never met white supremacists who had non-white friends, to be honest.
Neither have I, and I've known many neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
Fuck. I actually lost a lot of friends the first time I brought my ex-wife, whenever we were still dating, to a party. And it actually was a testament to see who was actually my true friend.
Yes.
And, the 5 people that stood by me, there we go. Those were my friends.
Well, now I think they're all dead, right?
No, 2 are still alive.
Oh. Long and winding road.
He defended his singing with the German label No Colors because it was the only reputable label in the underground willing to sign us.
Yeah. Well, and No Colors also has non-NS bands like Nargaroth and others. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, someone that's actually out there to make some money off of people's music, as opposed to pushing an ideology solely because they believe it. It's obvious due to their fucking album name that they believe it, but...
Well, actually, No Colors means something else. I think it's supposed to stand for something else. But it does have some NS bands, but there's also some non-NS bands there.
Yay. And claimed that his sampling of Hitler's speeches in his music was neutral.
Everyone samples Hitler's speeches.
Everyone does. God.
The guy from Iced Earth sampled a Hitler speech on his side project.
I'd like to sample one of his speeches where he fucked up in the speech and said something. It's gotta...
There was a cover of the horrible song "It's My Party" but done by some punk band. And before they did the cover as a joke, they put a Hitler speech before it.
He also sampled the line "Hitler is dead." Yeah. The No Colors affiliation is notable given that it's often regarded as a National Socialist black metal label.
It's a black metal label.
Okay. Having released records by bands like Absurd.
Good band. Who don't sing about NS. I mean, they're NS and Outlook, but they don't sing about it. They sing about werewolves and being pagan.
The band responsible for the murder of Sandro Bear, later putting Bear's grave on the album cover. That's a complete asshole move. I can support that.
Yes, it is.
See, we did this. This is good. And seeing member Hendrik Mobus describe Bear as a leftist faggot. Huh.
He was he was actually a very unsympathetic character. He's like Eric if Eric had like no good personality traits.
Oh man, at least Eric tries to understand where the fuck we're coming from, even though
and he doesn't cling.
Baffles him. Yeah.
He doesn't cling to us. Apparently Sandro was a very clingy person, and then he didn't he wasn't accepted, so he said they were too scary for him.
I want to be everybody's friend. That's a good way to earn a bullet in the head by me. If you want to be my friend by being everyone's friend.
Well, okay, the thing is, really quickly, he wanted to be accepted by the band. The band, kind of took him along a little bit and then realized that he was annoying. And then he left, and then he even told his mother, "Don't worry, they're too evil for me." And then decided to badmouth them and was going to spread stories about one of the people having an affair with a married woman. So yes, they kind of overreacted and killed him. But what I'm saying is he's not a very sympathetic character.
Yeah.
He wanted to be accepted by the cool satanic black metal guys, wasn't accepted, and decided to, turn antagonist on them. And look what happens. Look what
Yeah.
happens when you try to antagonize people.
Oh, wow. All told, despite his saying, "I'm not a Nazi" in an interview, did little to clear up the lingering question. It cleared up everything for me.
Yeah, really? Yeah, it actually
You
really.
don't know Nazis then if you fucking have lingering questions.
Yes, you've never seen the way they write. They can't help but politicize.
Clear up the lingering question of whether Wehrbach and Inquisition are in fact Nazis, or whether they are merely flirt with Nazism for shock value like so many other assholes on the internet right now.
Like you? You're probably just doing this for shock value. Oh my god, I'm going to write an expose about Nazi. Because this is from the AV Club.
Why does this read like the transcripts from the Salem witch trials?
Except for there's no torture taking place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sadly.
But this is from the AV Club. The AV Club is not a. They had a little bit of metal every now and then, but they're not a metal site. They're a mainstream. They're an offshoot of the Onion, I believe.
Oh god.
But unlike the Onion, which is like an open like satire, this is not satire. Sadly, I mean maybe it is, maybe it isn't. This is just a prank. But so this is a mainstream site trying to make sense of something.
And Mr. David Anthony, you know that it's people like you that campaigned the most to get Trump in the White House? Because you're, like you said, like so many assholes on the internet right now, and in some cases in the White House. Yeah, you're the one that put them there. Because they're sick and tired of you seeing Nazis and everything that is not a Nazi.
Maximum rock and roll has come home to roost. So yes, David Anthony, you are an idiot.
Oh God.
He's an idiot, and he has two first names. And you know what I always say: don't trust people with two first names.
Yeah.
You know, the last name is the first name.
I know. Because you can say you're not a Nazi all you like, but repeated actions to the contrary are far more indicative of the truth. What actions? You haven't shown me a single action.
The action was he sampled Hitler's speeches and worked with someone.
Oh wow, that's not proof.
My mind's changed. Jeez.
Wehrbach's tourmates in Mayhem may have similar history, harboring some disgusting views. Ooh.
Well, Hellhammer
like
did
the
have a white
extinction of the
power.
human species being the highest goal of humanity.
Actually, that's not true. Hellhammer did have a white power sticker in the early 90s on his drum set. But, he was, 17?
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you get angry about things, and you do have weird beliefs.
David Anthony must be the total Nazi and trying to hide the fact so hardcore that he was once a Nazi.
Well, but you know that a lot of kids. How many kids did you know who had periods of oh, I'm a racist because I got turned down by a black girl. Seriously, I've seen that before. They were 14.
You know what? Going back to my fucking neo-Nazi friends from back in the day, a lot of them fucking, oh god, about 3/4 of them fucking weren't even fucking really into the whole entire movement, didn't study a damn thing about it, didn't even really harbor any real racist ideas, just because they wanted to hammer it out. They were complete fucking posers by the 1/4 that were true hardcore fucking Nazis.
But a lot of it is like, I know a guy who believed that because he got into gang wars with certain people, and he didn't like those people very much when he was a kid because he was at war with them. But now that he's older, he's like, yeah, I realized I was a moron. Whatever.
Though these have long been given a pass because of the band's legendary status. It shouldn't even require a band to have legendary status to get a pass for fucking up in the past, or for even harboring abhorrent ideas. We're talking about fucking metal.
It's not pop. Although the guy from Ace of Base was a Nazi, that doesn't seem to get noticed.
Yeah.
I have his CD actually.
And because it is also riddled with clearly insane people, good. Extreme music attracts extreme people. Get the point.
Yes, and it breeds extreme ideas.
Uh-huh. Still, it is almost cartoonish. Its almost cartoonish extremity doesn't excuse stuff like drummer Jan Axel Bloomberg, better known as Hellhammer, saying this in black metal history book Lords of Chaos. I'll put it this way: we don't like black people here. Black metal is for white people. Oh, wow.
And now I have to say one thing. Norway is not the most tolerant of immigrants. Not quite Poland, where Poland, if your skin's darker than a certain, you get police harassment like 24/7. But the Lords of Chaos was at least written 20 years ago. He later then said, "I don't give a crap if you're black, brown, or blue. If you like metal, you like metal." Basically.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Yeah.
Lords of Chaos. And by the way, Lords of Chaos was a shit book, so I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if he was misquoted. Because I mean, it was interesting. I mean, I enjoyed reading it, but as far as a history of black metal, you do better looking at Wikipedia, and that's sad.
That is sad.
Now, Black Metal by Dale Patterson is much better.
Nor does it give him a pass on his championing Emperor drummer Bard Gludvig Ethan, known as Faust, in the documentary Until the Light Takes Us, for killing a fucking faggot. Oh.
Well, that's what he was, and he died. It wasn't Faust didn't kill him because he was gay. He killed him because he wanted to see what it was like to kill someone.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's basically what he said. So what happened was this guy had followed him, and he just he had drank like a beer, so he was pretty sober, and he didn't like the place, and he wanted to see what it was like, and he followed him, and this guy followed him, Magne Andresen, and Faust was like, yeah, I don't know why, but suddenly I just realized I was going to kill him, and killed him. And the funny thing is, the murder went unsolved for a good 3 or so years because no one could piece together why this guy died, because they looked in like the gay community, because he was gay. They looked in the gay community. Finally, because of a weird chain of events, they tracked the murder back to Bard. But it was just for 3 years. He even went on tour. He released albums.
Damn.
He's out of prison because in Norway they actually give you a chance to live your life after you do something like that. He's out of prison. He's in another band called Blood Tsunami. Pretty good band.
Cool. Then there's Varg Vikernes. Oh boy, here we go.
Some guy. By the way, I'd like to say two things. First of all, I really like that about the Norwegian and European scene or your European thing where yes, you do something horrible in your life, but you're able to recover from that. You serve your time in prison, 21 years, whatever, and you're able to recover and have a life after that. Pay your penance. Second of all, Fark's not even in the metal scene anymore. He hasn't released a metal album since 2014 or so. Everything else has been ambient. 2013. He's not even in the metal scene anymore.
The poster boy for racist metalheads.
He's not even in the metal scene anymore. I still want his RPG though.
Yeah, who played in Mayhem before he murdered its guitarist Euronymous.
That is such an awesome record. Well, A, it's an awesome record, and B, you get a weird feeling listening to the bass tracks and the guitar tracks, Murderer and Victim playing the same song. There's definitely an atmosphere there.
and a man who has openly propagated Nazi ideology. Yes, we know it's Varg. And has been even been convicted of inciting racial hatred against Jews and Muslims. A couple of those charges I find, a few of those we did debunk. Others,
and he did kind of murder someone.
Yeah,
but he's busy making videos on his little farm in France. I actually saw him doing a car test. He's doing all these videos on his YouTube channel. His little farm in France.
Well, Vickers is an extreme example. Then why hold him up as the poster boy?
Well, he's not even in the metal scene anymore.
Many of these black metal musicians, as well as their fans, tend to adopt Orbach's attitude that adopting Nazi imagery is purely an aesthetic choice. It usually is.
And it's not always just white people. I know a Jewish girl, okay, who might be listening to this show, who we the YouTube app that doesn't work anymore. The first song she posted was Screwdriver.
Hey, thank God, we have so much fucking shit.
What the hell is that noise?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
One that comes with a sort of implicit air quote that's become all more recognizable beyond the music scene.
What are you
so
talking
what about
about,
the
David?
black people wearing iron crosses and shit on their gear?
The Mexican guy I knew that wore a Screwdriver shirt. He loved Screwdriver. Like, this was back when I was a little spoiled high school kid, and I didn't listen to Screwdriver other than the first album because, oh my God, Nazis, right? And I was like, that kid. But he loved Screwdriver. And finally, of course, I realized that, it's music.
Mm-hmm.
But I was that kid for a while.
As Stereogum's Doug Moore pointed out in a recent column, many of these attitudes read like the defense of 4chan edgelords whose 4chan are pussies.
If you don't know the difference between an edgelord and someone trying to make a statement or just thinks it looks cool, I mean, that's why I will defend people who are called edgy sometimes, because I think they don't. A lot of people miss the point that they're not trying to say this thing to be edgy. They're trying to say it to make a point.
Yeah. People just don't want to fucking see it because they want to be this fucking puritanical church of everything.
Scott is edgy.
Yeah.
Scott is Mr. Edgelord.
It's annoying at times, but whatever.
But I like him sort of, in the sort of way that like I want to bash his head in with my hammer. But yeah, Scott is edgy. Mason can be edgy. Anarcha is the king of edgy.
Because he doesn't know how to say anything otherwise, and he's always looking for attention.
Yes, and we've given him too much attention on the show. Moving on.
Yeah, pay attention to him because his mom dropped him on his head 85 times and then fucking shit down his throat while he was suckling on her teeth. We don't know how that happened, but it worked.
I'm sorry, I just got weird images in my head now.
His own spreading a gas chamber and greedy Jew gifts are their way of being provocative, shit-posting the world.
Yes, and usually it's quite annoying. Actually.
Hoping to trigger a few normies. It's boring.
Yes, it is. I mean, the funny thing, Jim, is I can quote trigger people just by giving my honest opinion. I give my honest opinion about something, and I have 15 people wanting my blood. I love it. I think it's hilarious. Because I'm not trying to be Mr. Edgelord. I was just giving my honest opinion. All of a sudden, everyone hates me.
For some black metal fans, as in the majority of black metal fans, the offensiveness is just as easily dismissed as part of the package. And if you're triggered by it, that means it worked. Yes, that's the majority of fans. You're in the minority
yes,
here.
black
Go
metal
away.
is in underground, and the underground tries not to be mainstream. The underground is where creativity can flourish and where you can experiment with things, be it Satanism, be it whatever. But you can experiment with things without having to water it down for the mainstream. That's why thrash failed. That's why death metal failed, and ultimately that's why certain strands of black metal failed, because they got too mainstream. And so people who want to try new things, people who want to experiment with the dark ideas, get silenced. I mean, Slayer only did it because they're Slayer. You're never going to stop Slayer from doing what they do, ever.
That's the whole thing with the whole entire, they have to reach a legendary status to be untouchable that I fucking disagree with. Fucking shit. Let them do their shit. Agree or disagree. Is the music good?
Exactly. But that's the thing about the underground is you get a chance to experiment with things, and a lot of things are fairly abhorrent. But you can experiment with it. Whereas, like I said, the mainstream, you're held under a microscope. Even I don't consider Inquisition a mainstream band. They're underground, but they're on the upper level of the underground. Even a band like Inquisition gets held under the microscope. But that's the thing about black metal, is it was not meant to be examined by the likes of you.
Moore notes that a recent San Francisco show shut down by protests over Swedish black metal band Marduk, a group that's demonstrated a 2 decades long fascination with Nazism, which I have not seen.
Well, yeah, they've demonstrated a fascination with Nazism. Not promotion of it, fascination of it. I mean, I'm fascinated by Germany during World War II.
I'm fascinated by Japan during World War II.
Yeah, that too.
Come after me.
That
was some nice stuff. We're running out of resources. Let's just tell the people are going to go to the happy land and let them fly their planes one way.
Yep, that too. But so, and I still love the clip of playing the blonde beast in Israel, playing a song about Reinhard Heydrich in Israel.
Yeah. Was just a blip in an otherwise unimpeded tour in front of fans who, if they're not embracing that, tend to rationalize it away.
It's history. It's exploring history and what happened back then. They also had half an album dedicated to the telling of Vlad Dracul's life. Is that bad because they beat the Turks, or what? What's your point?
Oh, man. Fuck. This just reads like so many articles I read way back when I was doing research where they were trying to ban communists from speaking, and anything even remotely related, it was another Salem witch trial. It's what we call McCarthyism.
Exactly. I hate communists because communists hate me, and I wouldn't ban them from speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Ban them from living, yes.
For the most part, those within the black metal community seem to shrug it off that it's all just inherent to the art. Well, yeah, it is. Go away.
Good answer.
Granted, it's already easy to regard black metal as being a purely fringe interest. It is.
Even heavy metal's a fringe interest if you think about it. I mean, barring household names like Celautica, Sack Blavith, Iron Maiden. I can't say anything bad about them, and a couple others. What are like the biggest metal bands who aren't household name, like Slayer? How many people have actually not heard of Slayer, but actually have heard a song? A lot. A lot of people have heard a Slayer song, but compared to the number of people who've heard a Lady Gaga song or an Elvis song or something like that, Slayer's a huge band and they're small.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think, and they're probably the biggest, like I said, the non-Metallica, Sabbath, whatever bands.
appealing to just a select few anyway. Yes, there's something wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's
Nothing at all.
It's intense, jarring music that can also be totally goofy.
I don't see that, but
Whatever. You must be in that trembler-picked Savage Garden.
well, that's goofy. I mean, not humorous though. It's just
it needs to die.
Yes, it does.
And it doesn't garner a quarter of the press that bands like Metallica and Mastodon pull. Yay!
Like I said, those are the household metal. They're like I said, maybe there are 5, but even the biggest metal bands are like I said, other than Metallica or Mastodon, who aren't even really metal anymore. I'm not talking about the biggest black metal, but I mean the biggest metal bands are small compared to even the biggest black metal bands, Dimmu Shitburger, who they're pretty small if you think about it.
Still, black metal's Nazi problems, just to represent the most radical, unabashed expression of a bigotry that bubbles under even crossover acts within the broader genre, just like your entire bigotry within this entire article going on fucking witch hunts for anyone that dares deviate from your one true path of truth, justice, and happiness.
Praise the Lord. Antifa.
Mm-hmm. Death Haven guitarist, you were talking about it.
Death Haven. I love Death Haven.
Kerry McCoy used homophobic slurs on Twitter. Ooh.
Wow, not even Savage Garden is free from this.
Mm-hmm.
Holy fuck.
Before his band enjoyed crossover success, we must go after the original Sid. If you have ever sinned in your life, we must purge it by fucking shaming you into non-existence for all eternity for something you said 30 years ago.
Not even the fucking Savage Garden bands get away with this now.
But honestly, his arguments would work more effectively with those bands.
Yeah, you could maybe bully them into non-existence.
Which was all swept under the rug once the group became favorites of the press.
I didn't even know that, and I didn't care, and I still don't care. Although I used to be friends with the guitars for Death Heaven on Facebook. No real reason why, just, he was there. I added him.
Even Slayer's Tom Araya recently went after snowflakes while offering up some gay slurs. Good, I enjoyed them highly. You suck.
Yeah, I gave it like a C+. It was okay, but he's done better.
It could have done better, yes, but we're talking about...
Well, the reactions were priceless.
Yeah, that's...
The reactions were amazing, but,
The brief controversy over which hasn't seemed to affect its booking a tour alongside the politically charged Lamb of God. Ooh.
Yeah, they're okay. And Behemoth, who have also had accusations of being a Nazi because, oh my God, they know the band Graveland, and Nurgle used to call himself Holocausto when he was 14. Which is funny because he took the name Holocausto from the singer from the band Beherit, who was Nuclear Holocausto of the 7 Atomic Torments or some shit.
And when metal musicians do get punished for saying, punished for saying something. I mean, I'm dropping off the and doing deplorable shit. No, punished for saying something. Do you realize how ludicrous that is?
What's worse, Jim? Kicking a bird to death or saying you're going to kick a bird to death?
Kicking the bird to death. But you're trying to conflate the two with this statement, and that ain't flying by me.
Exactly. That was my point.
It's usually comparably light and quickly forgotten. Yes, it is. Pantera's Phil Anselmo. Oh, God, here we go again.
It's funny because he says this and then, like, 9 months later releases his best recording of the band Scour.
Yay. Having a festival appearance by his band Down canceled after he yelled white power and threw up a Nazi salute on stage in a complete intoxicated fashion that was not meant to be taken seriously in the slightest, but everyone has to purge the heathen.
Well, everyone has to film things now. Back in the day, it was you could do something like that, and 5 people would see it, and they would either laugh or get pissed. Now you see it, and one guy makes grainy cell phone footage, gives it to like 5 million other people who don't know the context, and look what happens now. Oh God!
Mm-hmm.
And you kept reading those stories to me, and I wanted to die.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that the sound is me.
They kept coming out like every fucking day.
I know,
Like,
I know, but
why?
I just wanted you to shut up. But we read like 5 of them.
Yeah, until we had to put a moratorium on ever mentioning it again.
Yeah, we
see how well that worked.
Yeah, right. Hello, we're here right now.
Yeah. And led to a self-flagellating apology video and a Rolling Stone interview where he tried to refute decades worth of racism accusations.
Oh,
Yay, purge the heathen, purge the heathen. God. And the sad part is the author of this article does not know how he's creating neo-Nazis by writing this.
Yeah. We've already covered that. I don't feel like repeating myself. Despite the fact that all I'm doing is repeating myself. You figure it out.
Dismo's only kicked off the Maryland Death Fest and Chaos in Tejas lineups after the other bands threatened to drop out.
Yes, and I've emailed some of the other bands, and some of the other bands said, "Oh, we were fed some information that was wrong, and we are sorry about that."
Yeah, we've heard he was a puppy killer, and that was wrong.
Not only kill puppies, he put them in pies, in shepherd's pies, puppy pies.
Yes, that's an unforgivable sin.
Yes, but human pies.
It's promised more live dates this year to back up its Profound Lore release. Good.
I might go see them.
As for Inquisition, it seems posing next to a swastika flag and working with unknown white supremacists. Prove it. It's fine as long as you give an interview where you say you're just not interested in, like, exploring all the world's political philosophies.
Hey, like, that's me. Wow.
God. Thank you, AV Club, for proving that, once again, the Inquisition lives on.
In both band and...
I'm talking about, I have to specify, though, the Inquisition of, like, the Dark Ages, No
one expects a Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah. But at a time when fascism and Nazism aren't just things kids play with for shock value.
Here we go.
You're the one making it so.
Go. Here we go. Ready? Go.
When they are hard, as it is to believe, actually growing concerns here in America and abroad, metal bands should no longer get a pass on this stuff.
How are they? I don't believe Donald Trump is a fascist. I believe he's an idiot, but fascist. We've already been down there. I don't want to dredge that up again.
Yes, Motorhead's Lemmy collected Nazi memorabilia, and even David Bowie flirted with fascist imagery.
Finally, you're actually making sense here.
Yes. Yet neither of them were releasing songs called Crush the Jewish Prophet, which is obviously killing Jesus.
Yes, I like that song. That was a good song. And he was a Jewish prophet. They should crush him. Yes.
Nor were they commissioning album artwork from known white supremacists. God.
Lemmy did actually leave flowers at Ian Stewart's funeral.
Oh, wow.
Because Screwdriver and back when Screwdriver was an apolitical punk band, Screwdriver and Motorhead used to share the stage all the time. Back in like 77 or whatever.
There's an important difference between extremism for art's sake and art that actually promotes extremism.
Yes, and you don't know the difference because
no, you don't.
You know of some bands that are NS, but you don't get that bands aren't subtle like that. I mean, look at a band like Dark Fury, and then look at a band like Marduk. A band like Dark Fury is busy saying, "Oh yeah, we're great for believing in this," or a band like Marduk is saying, "Here's what happened in history."
Mm-hmm. But you can't tell the difference because you're so fucking driven to burn the heretic, set fire to the witch.
Yes, set fire to David Anthony.
Metal's tight-knit community. How's it tight-knit?
How's it a community? I mean, I have a lot of friends who like metal, but I have other metal musicians and fans who think I'm everything that's wrong with the society. Jesse Morgan
would only be strengthened by kicking out those members who are hurting what has become. Why?
No, hurting what has become what? I want to hear this.
By kicking out members who are hurting what has become such an increasingly progressive form of music, which such ugly and regressive views. Oh God,
if
why?
Progressive music, go to punk. Punk is openly political, although there's right-wing punk too. But you know, metal is not progressive or regressive. Metal is metal. If you want to sing about animal rights and PETA and how you'd like to kill people who eat meat, sing about it. If you want to sing
this
about
entire article has been nothing but 100% regressive in its fucking framing. Every single sentence has been a regressive viewpoint, yet he's bashing regressive views.
But what I'm saying is metal is metal. As long as the music's good, you can sing about whatever you want. That's really how a lot of the metalheads view things. Do you remember the one guy who did the one great quote? What was it? I like my metal like I like my coffee. I like to know where it's being brewed. And what was it? I like to sift through it and see.
Yeah, that was fucking horrible.
We need to screenshot that shit. Also, we need to force Chaz to see Jim in a dress. I think he got pissy because we wouldn't let him play the video, but we started late, so.
And wouldn't it be nice if they could pick up a record about death, violence, and apocalyptic doom without also worrying that they're supporting a bunch of neo-Nazi racists?
Yeah, hi, me right here. I don't care. I mean, if I'm supporting, I'm also supporting communists.
If you're worried about that, go away.
Wait,
Sometimes
I also support communists. Do I agree with communists? Not in the slightest. I also support Napalm Death. Barney Greenway's a vegan. I gave him money the other day. Do I support vegans? Hell no.
It's all this you have to. Oh God, it's all this guilt by association. Fucking the Inquisition. Let's begin. The Inquisition. Purge out.
I don't support most of what these people believe. I have my own set of beliefs. I bought a record by a LaVeyan Satanist. You already know my fucking beliefs on LaVeyan. Scum of the earth. But it's good music.
Oh my God, this is just so fucking why.
Because it's the AV Club. That shit was shared by like every metalhead I knew, and nobody had anything good to say about it too. That's the best part. There was not any. There wasn't even any debate. It was literally just.
Yeah. Wait. More about Nazis? Yes. Magneto, a Holocaust survivor, is now a Nazi in the Marvel comics.
What, like Stockholm Syndrome or something? I don't know anything about Marvel or Magneto or.
Even with my own cursory knowledge, the entire reason he decided to put forth his own League of Evil Mutants was to combat the idea that humans had that mutants needed to be purged. And he took an extremist stance with it to purge the humans back.
Oh, that makes sense to me.
Yes. What in the hell is going on over at Marvel Comics? They've had some pretty stinky brain farts lately. First, they make Steve Rogers, Captain America, an agent of Hydra in Secret Empire. I absolutely hated that change, and I have nothing to say about it myself. As you know, Hydra has long been associated with the Nazis, so that the fact Captain America is now working with Nazi bugs the shit out of me. Yeah, considering they've been two rival groups.
Yes, okay, whatever.
Marvel has revealed that Magneto is also a part of Hydra, which now literally doesn't make sense because Hydra are Nazis. Fuck. And working with the Nazis. It was revealed in a series of Villains of Hydra variant cover art by Dan Mora. These include characters such as Baron Zemo, Madam Hydra, Crossbones, and Sin. And then there's Magneto, who makes no sense being a Nazi. Because he grew up in the fucking concentration camps.
I'm going to let you have this because I don't know shit about what's going on here.
I only know a little bit, but I had to bring it up.
Yeah, I know. That is funny, though. Well, I mean, maybe they'll rewrite his backstory.
Yes, I understand that Magneto is a villain, but he's a frickin' Jewish Holocaust survivor who hates Nazis and anyone affiliated with them. This is true, considering he slaughtered people.
Like I said,
on suspicion.
They might be rebooting it They might be rebooting the character, though. I don't know.
They might be, but at the same time, that would make no sense because that part of the mythos has been established to make him a sympathetic villain. You know, you have to understanding his motivations. You know, that he's not just, oh, haha, I am evil wizard. You know.
That's me. That's actually my catchphrase. Haha, I am evil wizard.
Because of that, he has always harbored a deep loathing for the Nazis and thus Hydra. Because the organization was founded by Baron von Strucker and supported by Nazis like the Red Skull, who he actually locked away in a fallout shelter at one point to get revenge for what he did during World War II.
Nice.
So he's going out punishing Nazis, but now he is a Nazi. Lovely.
Well, it could also be one of those, the enemy of my enemy. I mean, maybe they have to defeat someone new. I'm not really sure because I don't think the comics come out yet. So you may be in for a shock.
And it goes against everything Magneto stands for, which pretty much is. I'm not sure why Marvel Comics is rolling forward with this, but I'm not cool.
If you know anything about comic books, get in touch with us. Cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even my cursory knowledge just says this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You know, just because Nazis are evil doesn't mean that evil gets along with evil. You're trying to make evil monolithic, and it isn't.
Look at chaotic evil versus like all the other kind of evil. I killed evil people in D&D.
Mm-hmm. And ate them.
Oh yeah, because she tried to kill me, and she was still conscious when I ate her.
So that was a nice short article.
Ah.
I just felt like I had to bring it up because, you know, Nazis.
Yes, and if you know anything about comic books, or if you know what's going to happen in the comic book, and or has the comic book come out and the situation has changed, please email us. We care.
Okay, we have more Nazis from the alt-right now. As Amy Schumer slams alt-right trolls for sabotaging her new Netflix show. How'd they sabotage it?
Sabotage.
The barrage of negative Netflix member reviews. Oh, so they're saying it's a piece of shit, and that's how they're sabotaging it. After it's released...
If you don't say anything bad about if you don't say anything good about my show, it's being a troll.
and you're sabotaging. God. You know, I understand people don't like fucking Swine Brothers because we're assholes. Well, fuck you then.
I don't understand it because I have the like concept of anything that anyone can't like something I do. But that's because I'm a raging egomaniac. So
it's not because her new stand-up hour, The Leather Special, isn't particularly funny. It's some of the 35-year-old's finest work. I'm not familiar with their work. I cannot state anything.
I have seen some of her work, and I have to say, I mean, I could have just been a bad night, but if that's her finest, I haven't seen the special, but I've seen some of her work, and ooh, yeah, it's what's the word? Not funny in the slightest.
There we go. After a split-sider article exposed the truth about behind users' low scores, okay, so there's a truth behind people not liking something. It has to be for other reasons than just not liking it.
Trolls. Ooh.
The outspoken comedy of Raunch took to Instagram and revealed that the alt-right organized trolls to attack everything I do. Grand conspiracy.
Not just because you're not funny. I mean, if anyone's seen an equal pay thing, that was...
I do not care to. Schumer's brand of comedy is stemming from a strong feminist point of view. Well, that explains a lot right there, because all the comedy I've seen from a strong feminist point of view has failed because they cannot self-depreciate.
Self-deprecate.
Yeah, self-deprecate, self-depreciate, self-defecate.
Self-defecate self.
God. I mean, because you got to have other topics other than I am woman. Guess what? I'm still woman. I am woman.
Yes, you are, Jim.
That's the entire fucking emphasis of the comedy, and fuck off.
Yes, and yes, Jim is a woman.
Has often been the target of misogynistic critics.
Yes, but that's every woman. But you know,
That's every. There's a lot of women that fucking hate her, and they're misogynistic now.
But I'm saying, you know, yeah, every woman has had morons saying, "Oh, you're a woman, you can't do this," but most don't care because they want to prove themselves, and they just go out and do what they do.
Yeah.
And critics be damned.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the ones I really respect, actually, because you know, it's you know, fuck it, just if people don't like what you do, just set them on fire.
Her attackers are determined to do everything they can to see her go down in flames.
Ooh, I want to see that.
I did what I could, as in I haven't seen a single part of her work because I heard enough from people saying she's boring. It's like, why would I want to watch something boring? I mean, if I would rather, because that's the biggest complaint I hear. She's boring. And if that's the complaint, then I don't want to see it. If they said she sucks so horribly that she pissed them off and did this, then I might want to check it out.
The problem with her is she just, like, I mean, I'm not saying feminist whatever humor can't be funny, because any humor can be funny, I think.
Yeah, but
it's just it feels to me like she's trying very hard, but just failing. It's like
there's a huge gaping difference between the quality of feminist comedy in the 90s, which had a lot of humor to it, versus now, where it's just like, meh.
If you'll forgive the metaphor, her comedy is Jim running a marathon.
Yes.
It gives up about like 5 feet from, and just kind of
dies. I just die 5 feet from the finish line.
No, the start line.
5 feet from even the start line. Oh fuck! I don't think I'm in that bad of shape.
That'd be fucking funny. It's like 5 feet.
Female comics are frequently criticized for making certain jokes that men make all the time.
I criticize most comedians because I don't find most comedians funny. I mean,
Yeah,
my favorite comedians like George Carlin. There's Doug Stanhope, and then there's people who do like comedy shows but are not stand up. I mean, but that's it. It's I don't.
Sadly, a chunk of these negative reviews can be attributed to misogyny.
Or just because, like
The
I said,
biggest, the biggest complaint I heard was like she said that her pussy smells like a barnyard. So I asked back, did she make a fucking joke about being inbred? No. Then she doesn't know how to pull off that joke.
yeah, right. Although my favorite is there's a show in England called Mock the Week. And it was funny hearing a serious newswoman quoting from it. I am so old, my pussy is haunted.
You see, that would be funny.
But just the way she said it in like this like serious news reporter voice quoting this.
Yeah, after a long line of like just being overly serious, that going on. But standing out there trying to say I'm all pally with you and joking around like most stand-ups do, yeah, that's not going to work.
See, that's why I like later George Carlin, because you could feel the hate. And people were like, oh, he's just acting. He said there was some misanthropy in there. A good comedian will not put on a different face. She will magnify it, and exaggerate, but they will still be the same person. They won't. If they sound like the walk out, I hate you, and the walk out, I love you. They might not set people on fire. You know what I mean? The best comedians are the ones who are more themselves.
Some digging revealed a disturbing call to arms by alt-right subreddit users. Reddit is still a thing.
Yes, actually.
I didn't know Reddit was still a thing.
Yes, it's still big. Do you remember the Jim in the Dress when we read Emily Hill's metal satire thing? Someone posted a Reddit thing criticizing that post, and she actually criticizing that article, and she actually thought we had set it up. I was like, I don't fucking troll Reddit. I have a Reddit account, but I never use it because I don't care.
To smother Schumer's special with 1-star ratings. Posts on the thread read, to those that still have Netflix just added a new Amy Schumer special. Please go and 1-star that piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm not okay. See, it's like the old Mercure thing where they were saying on Metalgate, "Hey, you guys should tweet to her like anorexic black metal," and I openly said, "I'm not a huge fan of her shit, but there's no point to that. There's no point in trolling her."
Yeah, there isn't.
It's the same with Amy Schumer. I don't know who she. If it's true that people once started because they were just told to and didn't watch it, I find that bullshit. I find that stupid. If they watched it and once started, that's fine. But just trolling for the sake of trolling is stupid.
Instead of attacking the alt-right trolls, Schumer said in her Instagram post that they organized to get my ratings down, meeting in subreddit rooms. Like there's giant smoke-filled rooms inside a computer.
Yes. Oh, God. What if there used to be? I mean, I think you and I have both been in some cool chat rooms or group chats that were almost giant smoke-filled rooms.
They tried on my book and movies and TV show, and I want to thank them.
You wrote a book? Oh, my God. You made movies? Oh.
She goes on to explain that the attacks do nothing but add to her credibility as a comedian. Spelled weird.
See, well, comedian was always like how they say woman comedians. And I always said that was just stupid. I always called woman comedians because I never thought there'd be any different.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never understand the comedian thing, why that's designated for woman comedians. I kind of get actress, But if you prefer actor, but comedian, I never understood.
It makes me feel so powerful and dangerous and brave.
Well,
Wow,
yeah,
it
but
doesn't. Because someone did something online.
Me snorting crystal meth makes me feel powerful, dangerous, and brave, or PCP. But then you get
See, that's actually a good reason to feel that way. Of course, it's wrong.
you get in a fight with a cop.
Fucked up by shot 16 times by a cop because you didn't put down your cane, which they thought was a gun.
And well, the best part is you're still moving. Mm-hmm. And then the next day you're dead.
It reminds me what I'm saying is effective and bring more interest to my work, and their obsession with me keeps going. Well, I'm still not watching her.
I agree. To a certain point, trolls and things only fuel the fire. That's why I said trolling Miraker, trolling Amy Schumer, trolling Anita, whatever, isn't going to do anything. You're just going to fuel the fire.
Because you're going to get all the people wanting to fucking be their little white knights coming out to defend.
Exactly. This is so. Yes, in a way. Oh my God, I'm actually agreeing with her on something. In a way, I kind of see your point. That is, basically what you're doing is feel, and that's the problem I have with trolls and redditors and stuff. They can't see what they're doing is helping them. Same thing with David Anthony. It's the exact opposite as David Anthony. Can't see that they're helping the cause that they hate. The best thing to do is to watch, or okay. The best thing to do is either ignore it, or if you're a glutton for punishment, watch and critique.
Yes.
And then go to the cave with the sadomaso or the dominatrix. But we're not talking about that today.
Schumer was alarmed at the journalists for reporting the organized trolling as actual news without doing further research.
Yay, doing research.
This is what the current administration wants. Well, so you're saying the president? Just how whack job is this? The president wants to take you down.
Yo, the president! Wow. Donald Trump has no. Well, he is tweeting at 4 a.m, so.
Yeah.
Doesn't really look like. Maybe you should get some sleep and do your job.
May Wright, who wrote the Side Splitter article about the subreddit trolls, said Amy Schumer has to deal with a ridiculous amount of sexist bullshit on an everyday basis.
Which I would feel more sorry for if she was actually funny. I mean, I will say I've never seen a female comedian that was funny, because I've barely seen 2 comedians that were actually made me go, that's actually funny, like funny enough that I could watch that. I've seen people who made a joke, but so
when a stand-up special suddenly gets tanked by hundreds of negative online reviews from supposed fans, their legitimacy is probably worth double clicking over on Reddit.
It's just, I think they're fueling the fire, and I think they're morons.
Where said fans have a whole lot more free time on their hands to attack and harass people than Amy Schumer.
Yes. Yeah, I've said all I needed to.
But Schumer remarked that her motivation for the post had nothing to do with the trolls. In fact, she expresses her gratitude towards them. Well, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, at least she's I have to say this, she's handling it the way she should. Other people would cry and go, "Oh my God, she's handling it the way she should."
Yay. God, that was boring. I don't know why Chaz forced us to do it.
Because, I don't know, and then he left.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that was actually quite boring.
And finally, the truth about traumatic birth.
Oh my God.
When birth becomes a violation.
But, well, yeah, you're birthing a child.
The issue of birth rape, that's a thing,
I have thoughts on this. Let's do this quickly because I got to go eat. But let's do this quickly.
It's a contentious one in our society and one that we should not approach lightly. We do not use the words birth and rape together lightly, and we find it highly emotionally charged topic, one that we are extremely cautious about bringing up in a public forum. But you are now.
I would like to say I would like to get a female point of view on this topic because I understand that
put it off.
No, I understand. No, we'll do it. But what I'm saying is,
let's not, because it's long. You gotta eat.
No, okay, but I just want to say one thing. I would like to get a female point of view. Maybe when Danamon comes in here next, because Earth does weird things to people. You know, postpartum depression, things like that.
We'll get back to this.
All right, sorry about that. It's just.
Yeah, you gotta eat and all that.
We did start late. No, I think it's. I think we have enough for a show anyway.
Yeah.
But and yeah, we really should hold off on birth rate till we have a female. Maybe we'll actually have debate.
Yay, debate. That'd be good.
Yep. This is so that's all you got?
Yeah, that's all I got.
This has been the Swine Brothers Show, episode 129 for the 21st, I think, of March 2017. You can email us at cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com. Facebook is Swine Brothers, Twitter SwineBro666 for Eric, who said one word. For Chaz, who said 2 words. For my co-host, the Jim. Hey, you got a little teaser of next week's episode, or whenever we do the next one.
Yay.
And I'm your host, Elliot Lindemoon. We'll see you next time.
Yes, that's the ticket.